Honours even at Kenilworth Road between Liverpool and their hosts, Luton. The two managers just sharing a moment there. Luis Díaz with his third goal in the Premier League this season, probably one of the biggest to earn Liverpool a point. We're going to get post-match reactions and hear from Chong and Ogbene.
Tahith, Chidozie, this was nearly a really explosive bonfire night for Luton. Tahith, did you think that you'd claimed a famous victory when you scored that late goal?
Yeah, I think obviously when you score that late, you're already thinking of obviously winning and winning the game. But I think obviously they have quality and they're going to keep coming. Unfortunately we can see that last minute. But I think I'm very proud of the team and very proud of the squad and what game we played.
Chidozie, what was going through your mind when that late equaliser went in? Is the glass half full or half empty tonight?
I'll be honest with you, I didn't know. I was kind of praying for a VAR check, but obviously it was a clean goal. But as Chungy said, you can't fault the effort tonight. I think we're going in here slightly disappointed we didn't get 3 points against a very good Liverpool team. But as I said, that's how far we come. And I said to you earlier on, it's all about moments. And obviously Chungy took his moment very well. And we are happy with the points. Obviously, if you can't win, you don't lose, and that's what happened today.
Nobody outside Kenilworth Road probably gave you much of a prayer of getting anything from this game. How much belief was there at the start today, and what was the feeling and the messages in that dressing room?
As I said to you earlier, it was all about momentum, and we're just trying to create an atmosphere here that we play dynamic football and we want to get the crowd on our side. Not many teams know the kind of atmosphere we have here, but the manager said clearly before the game just to believe in the game plan and just be patient. And I said to you, in this league, and it's not just against Liverpool, whoever you come up against, you just need to take your moments, and Chungy took his moment very well and put the momentum in our favour.
Tahith, is this result today also a sign that Luton are really beginning to grow into this league?
Yeah, I think if you watch a couple of weeks, we've grown every single game. We've grown into the league, and obviously we're still learning and we still want to improve. So I think we take this one as a plus, and we have to keep improving and keep getting better and better. And maybe next time we get 3 points.
And other teams, the big so-called teams looking at this tonight, nobody will really, I think, fancy coming to Kenilworth Road or that performance, will they?
Yeah, I think what Chio said, we want to create an atmosphere here which is difficult for the big teams, or not only the big teams. I think every single team that comes here, we just want to make it a difficult atmosphere for them to come and play and try to play our football. And like I said, just keep improving game by game.
Well done to both of you. Almost a famous victory. I think it's half full rather than half empty. Go and discuss it back in the dressing room. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
What did Luton do well today?
Well, intensity. I thought they were really intense with their pressing, with their, making sure Liverpool didn't settle on the ball. They restricted Liverpool, I think. Liverpool did have chances, but you'd expect them to. And what I was really, impressed with was that it wasn't just let's sit back and let's take everything that Liverpool has to offer. It was when we get the ball, we're going to try our best to contribute and to make chances ourselves. Now, again, they didn't create loads and loads, but enough to obviously score a goal. And I thought that was good because it's a long old game, 90 minutes. If you're going to go into a game and think, right, let's just try not to concede and hardly offer anything going forward. So it's very important for these teams to come up and try to score goals. And I thought they did today.
Spoke just privately in here and was talking about that imposter syndrome of first getting to the Premier League, playing your early games in the Premier League. Now you come up against the likes of Van Dijk, against the Szoboszlai, against all these top considered world-class players, and you're putting in good performances. So all of a sudden, that self-belief that you get from that, regardless of the result, how you individually did against your opponent, it gives you a lift. So I think the fact that they've now, obviously, unfortunately, only got the draw, but they've got a draw against Liverpool. It's an important point for them. It keeps them and it puts them out of the bottom three. I think it'll be massive for them taking forward.
Yeah, give Luton a lot of confidence, as will the way that the goal came about from Tahith Chong, because it was just 15 seconds from Liverpool getting a corner.
Yeah, it was, and we speak about the counter-attack, but it's about making the right decisions. And you're right, it came from a Liverpool corner. It was maybe an argument for a handball, but I don't think it was one. And then it was all about the right decisions, because sometimes you see you're in a counter-attack, but you have to pick it at the right time. Barkley, right time, right way to pass. Then Kabore, right time, way to pass. And then look, Chong then gets a goal. Look, not sure it's a handball for me. Not convinced.
So it's not given, VAR checks it and decides it's not a handball that they're going to punish for Ross Barkley. Are there any dissension with the VAR's decision here?
No, I just... Listen, people always talk about having consistency and people might point to another one, but I think sometimes you've got to take them on their own individual sort of case, and Ross Barkley sort of jumping, doesn't know where he is. It hits him on the elbow. Another part of his arm is a little bit wider, but the elbow's not too far away from his body, so I was fine. And then, you know, that's what they hadn't managed to do all day. They've had loads of threatening situations where you think, you know, Liverpool could be in real trouble here. But both teams really lacked real quality in the final third of the pitch, and that was the first time we'd seen it, really.
And then with only 10 minutes left to go, they thought that they'd managed to, that was going to be enough for them to get the win. Well,
we thought so, yeah, and they defended so well all day. Again, we speak about the amount of shots Liverpool had. They had 20-odd shots, but shots on target, they only had one more than Luton. So in terms of they defended well, they were so well organised, but unfortunately that last bit of organisation, that last clearance that they needed right near the end just fell short, and obviously Luis Díaz gets his moment.
Yeah, it was a really lovely moment for Luis Díaz. He's had a terrible time. He's still hoping for the safe return of his father from kidnappers in Colombia. And it was an emotional moment for him. He didn't start the game. He came off the bench and got the equaliser, I think just off his shoulder in the end, Jamie.
Yeah, and I get what Curtis is saying about Luton, but I actually don't think there's too much to do. I think it's a great ball in from Javier. He's done that 2 or 3 times. He's been brilliant from the bench. But that leap as a defender when you're going back and you know the attacker's behind him, you know, Curtis, we're well aware of that, aren't we? And that leap, just getting up early, stops the defender jumping. So I actually thought it was a brilliant goal from Liverpool's point of view, and it just felt fitting that if Liverpool were going to get something from the game, it was him.
Yeah, freedom for Papa is what it says on his T-shirt, and he's hoping, of course, for his safe return. And if there was, I know you were hoping for the Luton win, but if there was one player to equalise, would that have been the one that you could have chosen?
I think for humanity, I think you wanted to see a positive situation for him in a bad time. You know, I'm all for Luton winning the game, but if it were going to be anyone, I'm just glad it was him. And you could see from the Luton players after the game, all of them made a beeline to him to, you know, to give their condolences for his situation. So sometimes, obviously, football is football, and we want the 3 points, but humanity does take over sometimes, and you know, you become humans after the game. Yeah, and
it puts our language into perspective as well. When we talk about the disappointment for Luton, then you look at someone's personal situation, and it gives it an element of perspective. There were options there were opportunities for Liverpool to take the lead in this game at 0-0. The best of them fell to the player that you would want that opportunity to fall to first, and then maybe the second player after that.
Oh, yeah, this one, Salah, he has to score it. That's the first one, and then I don't know how Nunez has missed that one, but Salah does everything right, peels off, then goes in between. He's onside. I mean, again, those balls in from the wide areas, round to the back stick were causing problems, and then from 2-3 yards out, Nunez has to score that, but that isn't a pass over to him. He's gone for that, Salah, so that's an error, and then you can't even describe how that's been a miss.
And that's what we spoke about before the game. We're saying that Nunez, his numbers aren't bad in terms of goals per minute, but it's the amount of big chances he's missed. And this just goes down as another one. No, for not one moment is Salah ever passing that ball. We all know that. But he's actually done unbelievably well to spin. His reaction to where the ball's going, gets there, just needs to put it in the net, and unfortunately for him, it goes over, and it's another one that we'll see on social media, people calling him out about it.
Yeah, that's the thing with Darwin Núñez. There's so much to admire about him, and he's had a great sort of season so far, but he has moments like that where the people who are maybe not thinking he's quite at the top level or are not huge fans of his, they can always point at situations like that. So he has to change those little situations like that. There was one in the first half where I just think a little bit, not more clinical, but a different type of finish. He's got to bring that into his game. He's a little bit more delicate rather than just putting his foot through every time he gets an opportunity.
Yeah, 9 shots he had today without scoring.
Game, yeah.
But some of them were sort of longer, more speculative shots as well for him.
Yeah, listen, he's dangerous, he's a handful, he's never going to be the most clinical. I think we know that now. He's been in our league almost 18 months, but there's no doubt there's been a big improvement this season. He's Liverpool's number 9, but he's just got to stop the memes, I think, on social media, and people looking at, big chances that he misses, because, he's got to be more clinical in those situations.
There was also a shout for a penalty for Liverpool, and Jurgen Klopp got very exercised by this, to the point where he was cautioned by the 4th official. What were your thoughts? Did you think this was a penalty It's Mengi on Van Dijk we're looking at here.
I mean, I had to look twice because they're both kind of at it, and I was trying to work out who instigated it first. And like I said, I had to look at it twice. I think they're both kind of at it, and I was trying to work out who instigated it first. And like I said, I had to look at it twice. I think they're both at it, Kelly, to be honest. I don't think it's neither. I think Van Dijk goes in and then he tries to push him out the way as well, and they're both at it. So for me, it wasn't.
I think personally, from personal experience, unless the ball is landing right on Van Dijk's head in that area, a referee will never give that, nor VAR.
He did last week.
Oh, well, yeah.
But I'm with you, Curtis, in that I think the reason why we're maybe looking at this a little bit more is the fact of what happened last week in the Manchester derby, where I don't think that's a penalty. I mean, don't get me wrong, the defender's trying to block Virgil van Dijk, trying to stop him running. We've all been there as defenders, but then I think it becomes a little bit of a grapple, and Van Dijk's right arm there as well, you could argue, as he pushed the Luton defender to the floor. So I don't think it was a penalty.
Let's get some reaction from inside the Liverpool camp. Alison is with David Craig.
Alison, this game had everything, but a very poignant moment for Liverpool. Luis Díaz scoring your equaliser. What does that say about him in a very difficult moment for him and the support that he's had from this group at Liverpool?
Says a lot about his character, about his inner strength. I think not many people imagine what he's going on now. Even us, we are close to him, of course. We are supporting him, but we feel his pain, but for him is a different level. So football sometimes in the dark moments can bring joy to people, can bring joy to somebody who is struggling, and I think football is bringing a slice of joy to Lucho at this time. We are together with him for whatever he needs to take his time. He came, trained, came to the game, scored a fantastic goal for us. That was really important, and we are with him 100%.
We saw the tribute to his father. Did you sense when he came off the bench something special may happen for him?
Football always surprises us in a good way. Sometimes it happened with me when I was going through a really difficult moment, and happened today, happened other times for other people. I think when you are on the pitch, you are focused on doing the job. I think he was focused on doing this, trying to help the team to get the points, and he did that for us. He did that.
How difficult was this for Liverpool here today, particularly on this ground with this atmosphere?
Really difficult. We have to play against the circumstances, against a deep defending team. It's really hard to play against that. A lot of energy. They did a really good job today. I think we didn't play a bad game. We could do better with the chances that we created. We could score 2-3 goals. The goalie makes some good saves as well. We missed some chances. We could have defended better the counter-attack that they scored. All these kind of things I think were involved in the game. It's disappointing to not win. You always expect that you were going to win a game like this, but we respected the opponent, playing bravely on the pitch, and that's it. We get the point.
Jamie, this has been much touted as Liverpool 2.0, this new version of Liverpool. The problems that they had last season away from home against newly promoted sides with 2 defeats and a draw, followed by a draw against a newly promoted side at Kenilworth Road today, seems to be a case of the same old problems. What do Liverpool need to do to find the solution? Why do they find these situations so difficult?
I think what Liverpool have had in the last 18 months, they're a lot better at it this season, is they still are not as good as Manchester City at stopping counter-attacks. That's what I would say. And people always think of Liverpool and how they play and about being, pressing from the front. But Liverpool are a team who, and have for a long time, dominate possession, have a lot of the ball, but they're not quite as good as Manchester City on the ball. So there's more turnovers when they lose the ball. And opponents do seem to find spaces a lot more to actually attack and get in behind Liverpool. Luton didn't have the quality to really punish them, except for, for the goal that we saw here late on. But I'd say that was the big thing. Liverpool also in midfield are a lot improved than we saw last season, but they still haven't got a top holding midfield player. McAllister's not a holding midfield player. He's good on the ball in terms of receiving, but in terms of defensively, he finds it really tough and lacks a bit of pace, I think, for that position. So I still think they can improve there. And I think in the back four, I think Liverpool could do not so much, a player for a specific position, but almost just a great defender who can almost play a little bit in a couple of positions. They went with Gomez today. At left back instead of Tsimikas, we thought he'd be stronger defensively. I still think Liverpool could probably do with a player in that position, probably on the other side at right back, and maybe release Trent at different times, maybe into midfield, and against certain opposition you play someone there who's maybe tougher and stronger defensively. So I think Liverpool are not ready to win the league. I think Jurgen Klopp and Liverpool supporters know that right now. They want to get back in the top four, but in terms of challenging again, I think it'll be another midfield player and a top class defender.
Yeah, in terms of trying to break that Luton side down, though, there are going to be plenty of teams who come here. And as David Craig was saying in his interview questions, this is going to make a lot of teams sit up and take notice of just what Luton can do.
Yeah, because Rob Edwards is a realistic manager. He knows that playing against Liverpool, we're not going to take the game to Liverpool. We have to sit in and we have to find our opportunities. Today it works for them because they were solid. Liverpool on the counter-attack. The other day against Forest when they played, they took the first two counter-attacks, 2-0, game over. Forest didn't have to come out, they get a third goal. But today they couldn't do it. And the longer the game goes on, you always get told as one of the smaller teams, the longer the game goes on against Liverpool, the longer the game goes against Man U, Man City, whoever it is, the game's going to open up because they're going to become more expansive, and then you'll find those spaces. We get to the 80th minute, obviously, on the counter-attack from a corner, they break, Chong gets his goal, but then obviously Luis Díaz gets one back.
But it's nothing new, this, in terms of going away to someone and a team dropping deep away from home, a team who've come up. The big thing there is, when I'm saying about stopping counter-attacks, it's the fact that it keeps the energy in the stadium. They still believe there's a chance, keeps the players going. There's no problem with, you haven't scored after an hour or 70 minutes, but if you just keep sustaining attacks and almost the opposition lose their belief that they can actually get out, and the defenders need a break, and you just got to keep going and keep making that pass. As I said, we've all played in games like that, haven't we, Karen, where you just got to keep going, you're on top, and sometimes you win the game 1-0, don't you?
The one thing I was going to say, though, is that if it isn't McAllister as a deep-lying midfielder, today you mentioned about dominating the ball. If you put someone in that just broke up play, they wouldn't really help in today's game, where they were expected to come to a team like Luton, dominate the ball and keep going in that attacking third. Yeah,
I get that. You can have two different types of players, but I think when you're talking about playing for Liverpool, any midfielder, even if he's a sit midfield player, should be able to, get on the ball and play. I understand what you're saying. He's probably going to be better than, someone who's really destructive. But I think in those games, in that position, when a team's dropped off, a lot of the passes are, basically simple passes, moving the ball around, really. And yeah, there'll be certain games where he can play there. He's played there all season. I just think he finds it tough, really, when there is a quick turnover, which the opposition are trying to do. And if you actually look for the goal, I'm not sure who gets dragged out when the cross comes in. McAllister's trying to get back, he can't get back. And it's not his fault, it's not a mistake, but you can sometimes see that lack of pace at times when the ball's turned over, he can't quite get back.
We also spoke, before the game about him playing holding midfield against these kind of teams where you're going to dominate the ball. When you go to the bigger teams, you can't possibly do it because, if you're playing centre midfield and you're having to go up against a Kevin De Bruyne and you're doing a holding role, it's a totally different role. So it's all good when you're going to dominate the ball, but you do need that person there that's going to win the ball, give it to someone else and just sit there and soak up the pressure.